Today, I'm here with Andrea Beatriz Arango. She is the author of these books. Andrea, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here at the Library of Congress with me.
I'm excited too. It's my first time here.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
To DC or to the library?
To the Library of Congress.
Yes. You know, so many people say that, and I'm on a mission to change that, Andrea. I want everybody in here. So, Andrea, what book have you brought with you to share?
I brought Sincerely Cicely. This book came out quite a while ago. I read it January 2023, and I just have not stopped thinking about it since. So I wanted to share it with everybody today.
And why? What is it that made that book linger for you?
So Cicely, the main character, she's Black and Panamanian. So first of all, that's not something I've seen a lot in children's books. And she is a writer. And as a writer myself, I love finding books where kids are writers too. Cicely has found some of her grandfather's writings, and that inspires her to start journaling, which I thought was so nice, just having the connection. I come from a family of people who have done quite a bit of writing. I'm the first one to get published, but a lot of my family members have written too, and so I connected with that. And she's on a mission to try out for the newspaper club at her school, but she's also on a mission to kind of uncover her family history in Panama, because she's in a new school this year and the kids just cannot understand how she can be Latina but look Black. But the problem is she doesn't have the answers to give them, because she doesn't really know as much about her culture and her heritage and her race as she wants to. So she's doing all these research projects and writing kind of the way her grandfather used to write. And she's also dealing with kind of a normal middle school, like, how do I fit in? Do I look the best I can look? Her grandmother hates her braids. Which is an issue and something I could relate to, because growing up, I was the only one in my family who had curly hair. Nobody knew what to do with it. And so my family was always telling me to do something with my hair, brush it. I never looked good enough for them. And so I really connected with multiple aspects of this book, honestly, the family parts, the wanting to be a writer, wanting to fit in and feeling unsure about, how you look. So
yes, I think I'm going to put this book immediately on my to be read pile. I like the idea also of intersections of how we are Latina, right? And we span everything. And it's interesting to me how little that is known, right? Or how little it has been reflected in Kids Lit. So I think that will be a really powerful book. And I am really delighted to hear that you come from a family of cuentistas, so to speak. My people were not writers, but they were cuentistas. They told stories all the time. Now, your family is from Puerto Rico, yeah?
Some of them, yes.
Okay.
Half of my family is actually Cuban, but they ended up in Puerto Rico.
Mira, we have that in common. Nice. And were they also lots of storytellers or written?
Yeah. My dad always told everyone that I got the writing thing. Well, he would claim any good thing. He would say I got my looks from him, the writing, my grades, everything. He was in business, but he definitely dabbled in poetry in different points of his life. I have a lot of memories of using my grandfather's typewriter, in his house, just because it was fun and I had never seen it before. And I would always gift my family members poems, because they would appreciate them, because a lot of them had written poems too. And it's one of those things where growing up, nobody thought writing could be a career. And so they all did it for fun, but nobody had ever tried to pursue it. And I think that's part of why they're so delighted now that I actually have books out and I'm doing what they might have wanted to do, but just didn't know was possible, back when they were growing up.
You say something that it feels very familiar to me also, that no one in our family really knew how to make this longing and this talent and this ear for story into a career until here comes Andrea Beatriz. That's fantastic. So cuéntame, how do you think your life as a teacher impacts how you write now? What's been the effect of that in your writing?
The biggest impact for me, because I was a teacher in Puerto Rico first before I moved to the States, and then I was a teacher in the States. And I think for me, teaching in the States was the biggest impact, because growing up in Puerto Rico obviously had a lot of pros. I was surrounded by my culture and my language. I never felt out of place the way, so many people do in the US. But it also means I wasn't exposed to all the different kinds of childhoods and cultures that were really out there until I became a teacher in the US. And I was a teacher, I taught English as a second language. So all of the immigrants, all of the refugees, I was the one pulling them out of their classrooms, working with them on their English. And I think that just opened my eyes to, it's like you said before, you know, people like to put, you know, Latinx people under this like monolith of we're all the same and we all look the same. But there's really so many countries that make up Latin America and so many cultures and races and languages. And I really got exposed to that when I was teaching because I had students just coming from all parts of the world. And yeah, I think it definitely not only helped me see more worlds and more communities and more stories in my students, but it also pushed me to try to find that in books because I wanted my classroom to reflect the kids that were in it. And that really pushed me as a writer too, because I had a hard time finding the kinds of books that I wanted to share with my students.
Drawing families accurately. This is something that I think really attracts me to your work because you draw people with all of their frailties and their difficulties, with all of their unlovable qualities, and also with such love and respect. How do you keep yourself honest in writing people who are complicated?
Yeah, it is hard. But I think that's how it is in real life too. You know, I think sometimes in media we can get caught up in like the binaries of like, this person is a good parent, this person is a bad parent, and that's just like all there is. And in my experience with all the kids that I've met, a lot of them have really well-intentioned family members who just have stuff that gets in the way of them actually helping their kids access what they need. And so that's really what I try to channel in my books. I always say all the adults in my books are good people and they have good intentions, but they just always can't make things happen. Because I think that's how it is in real life. It's very messy. The fact that we need to be empathetic and that there aren't, you know, binaries like that and everybody has a bad day and everybody makes mistakes. So I really want to show that in the adults in my books and not just in the kids.
Yeah, you do it so beautifully. Andrea, it has been so lovely to have you here. And I look at you, you have 2 books out right now at this time that we're recording. But I see so many books waiting to happen. And I can't wait to go into the library and find them on the shelf. So I'll see you at the library, so to speak.
I love that.